Okay, hey guys, this is Skim. We're actually not really live here at Dreamhack because we're at the Game Effect Land Center in Jonkoping. Not really sure am I pronouncing that right. Anyway, with me is TC from Team Liquid, and yeah, how are you doing, man?
Pretty good. Just arrived here earlier today. Just been playing at the Land Center while waiting for everyone to show up.
How long was your trip overall?
Overall, for me, maybe 18 hours. About that.
That's rough. Although I know that some other plays took like 30 hours and stuff like that. I'm not sure. And Fluff is still delayed, so I guess, yeah. Anyway, you've been playing at the LAN Cafe. How is it actually? I mean, have you been to other LAN Cafes before, and how would you rate it? The setup?
It's a pretty nice LAN Cafe. It's probably the second best one I've been to. There was one in China we went to, which was like really high end, but this one's really nice.
Okay. You were planning to bootcamp, I guess, a bit before Dreamhack tomorrow. I guess just playing a few games together, scrimming, but that didn't really work out. But how did you prepare in general for this event? I mean, yeah, did you maybe plan out some strategies or something like that?
We just played some scrims. As for like boot camping, I mean, I think our main goal playing at the LAN Center was just to like get used to LAN ping more than like try to like work on strategy. So we can still do that even though Fluff isn't here yet.
Speaking of LAN, well, setting overall, you were at the G1 League. Of course, the results were kind of disappointing, I would say, at least just looking at the results. But overall, how would you rate the experience overall? I mean, what did you learn from that?
Well, overall, I mean, although we didn't do that well, it's good to know that the gap between the East and the West isn't as bad as people thought it was. So going into TI3, I think the Western teams have a really good shot.
And also you also gained a lot of LAN experience because that's basically the first LAN your current team attended. What do you expect from this Dreamhack? I mean, you haven't been to Dreamhack before, am I right?
I haven't personally. I think Korok and Sam have, but me, Mike, and Fluff, it's our first time going to Dreamhack. But for the LAN experience, I mean, it definitely helps for us as a team. For this LAN, it's going to be pretty difficult. I think there's a lot of teams that could come out on top.
A lot of people actually, well, over the past have kind of complained about background noises and not being able to communicate properly or concentrate properly because there's a lot of screaming going on, fans in the background. Have you personally... Well, I mean, at TI and G1 there were those booths, so I guess you didn't really hear that much, but how do you plan on coping with that?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different here at Dreamhack with the crowd like right behind you when you're trying to play. Not really sure how we're going to prepare for that. Just try to focus on the game and try to zone it out.
Well, let's focus a bit on the tournament. The groups are out. You're in the group with... I'm kind of blanking out here. I think VP and... No. Yeah, it's VP. Mousesports, yeah, Mousesports 4C and AL Pride. Thank you for that. And what do you expect how do you expect this group to result?
I expect us and Mouse to advance, but 4FC and L Pride are not teams you can underestimate. They can definitely take games off of top teams. And I mean, it's best of one, so anything can happen.
That's true, that's true. You mentioned it, best of one. Would you say with this magnitude, I mean, it's a lot of money, there's so many good teams that they maybe should even change or consider changing the format overall, maybe have best of two, well, not best of two, but yeah, two game groups or maybe even best of three groups?
Best of three might take too much time. I mean, the format isn't too bad. It's like a pretty condensed tournament. But, I mean, I probably would like to see best of two. It's a little bit better to make sure that the top teams advance.
Yeah. The new patches has been out for 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks now. Obviously, a lot of teams have been adapting to that, have been trying out a new sort of new lineups. We've seen almost every hero in the pool, or actually every hero in the pool. Do you think the teams are resorting back to a more conservative playstyle and playing a bit more safe, or are they actually going to try out a lot of new stuff at Dreamhack?
I think you might see some new strategies. I mean, you're already seeing teams start to use like some cheesy push strats with like Pugna, but then there's also just sort of like standard play. You're seeing a lot more like sort of semi carries or carries in the mid lane, kind of farming a lot. But it's hard to say.
Without revealing too much about your strategies, what hero do you feel kind of undervalued in this new patch? I mean, I talked to who did I actually talk to? I talked to a few pro players, and they said that there were a lot of changes that are kind of underappreciated. Is there anything you would like to point out in that regard?
It's hard to really say.
What change strikes you as the biggest or at the most valuable?
I think the biggest changes about that patch was mostly with how, like, the drafting. I don't think there were too many, like, really significant hero changes that, like, completely changed them. Just some, like, small balances and some, like, nerfs to some overpowered heroes. But I think the drafting change is the biggest thing.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. A lot of teams have been still kind of adapting to that. Okay, on the spot here, let's exclude your team. Top two.
Na'Vi and maybe VP.
Not Alliance?
Oh, well, it's hard to choose between VP and Alliance, but I think Na'Vi will be in there for sure.
What makes you say that? I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that. I mean, of course, they have kind of a good track record as of late, but is there something so special about them currently?
I think Na'Vi, they just have been playing really well lately. I think they're like one of the most skilled teams. Not much else to say.
Yeah, I guess that's about it. Well, thank you for the interview, and I wish you the best of luck throughout the whole tournament. And do you want to give any shoutouts?
Shout out to my team and our sponsors, Twitch, Razer, Shiny Things, and Barracuda Networks. And that's it. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.